Yasodhanandana Braja Janalandana
Yashodhanandana Braja Janavandana
Yasodhanandana Braja Janalandana
Yashodhanandana Braja Janavandana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Jagat Guru, Jaya Jagat Guru, Jaya Jagat Guru, Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo.
Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Gora Haribo.
Haribo, Nitai Gora Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gora Haribo.
Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Jaya Haribo.
Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki.
Om
glory.
Gyananandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sajajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahita Krishna Chaitanya Devam, Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita, Shri Vishakan Vitam. Okay, we're going to start again with the quiz. Now this time, someone try to answer as best you can without reading as many, out of 6. Starting with verse 1. What are the 6 pushings?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Gurudev, Dandava Pranam.
Yeah, good.
The 6th pushing is anger, urge to speak, the mind's demand, the urge of the tongue, belly, and genitals.
I think that's it.
Yes.
Vacho Vega Manasa. Words. Vacho Vega pushing. Vacho Vega mind is pushing. Krota Vega anger.
Anger.
The jive, pele, then the tongue, the belly, and the genitals.
The genital.
So one leads to another. Have to be careful. If we eat too much, the belly will demand more, but the belly might say, I'm full, but the tongue says, no, a little more will help you. Just try this one, try that one. And then when the belly gets too heavy, it pushes on the genitals, and then someone thinks, I have to have sex to relieve this pressure. So we have to start with the tongue. Same thing if we speak bad words, wrong words, without thinking, and we might make somebody angry, or we might get angry, and then if we get angry, we'll speak crazy. So we have to be careful. All right, very good. That was without reading?
Yes, Gurudev.
Okay, someone else? 6 things that are unfavorable.
Krishna Maharaj.
6 things that are
Krishna
unfavorable.
Maharaj.
Yeah. I'm waiting.
Okay. One being number 1, eating unnecessary or collecting more fund than required. Over endeavoring for modern things that are very difficult to obtain. Talking unnecessarily about modern subject matter. Practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures, and acting independently or whimsically. 5, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6, being greedy for modern achievement.
Wonderful. So watch out for those. Now, that means we watch out in ourselves, not watch out for others so much. I knew one devotee, he heard these things and he was always pointing at someone else. You're doing this, you're doing that. We should be watching ourselves. Okay, and 6 things that are favorable.
Hare Krishna Gurudev, Dandava Pranam.
Okay.
Being enthusiastic, being patient, acting according to the regulative principles, following the footsteps of our previous acharyas, abandoning the association of non-devotee, and endeavoring with confidence.
Very good. I think you left one out. Starts with P.
I read being enthusiastic, 2, being patient.
Okay.
Number 3, acting according to regulative principles. Then
you missed one out. You missed one out.
Well, no, maybe she gets it. I think she got it.
Following the footsteps of their previous sharers, abandoning the association of non-devotee and endeavoring with confidence.
Okay, good.
Okay, yes.
That's usually number 2. It doesn't matter what order though. Very good.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the rest of the verses, I was thinking today that kind of like just explaining how to do all those things. So this one is explaining about, not criticizing devotees, not judging devotees by their body or their, anything about their ultimately not judging anybody like that. But okay, so we left off with in the middle of verse 6. If we consider the bodily defects of a Vaishnava. Somebody want to read?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. If we consider the bodily defects of a Vaishnava, we should understand that we are committing an offense at the lotus feet of the Vaishnava. An offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava is very serious. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described this offense as Hati Mata, the mad elephant offense. A mad elephant can create a disaster, especially when it enters into a nicely trimmed garden. One should therefore be very careful not to commit any offense against a Vaishnava. Every devotee should be ready to take instructions from a superior Vaishnava, and a superior Vaishnava must be ready to help an inferior Vaishnava in all respects. One is superior or inferior according to his spiritual development in Krishna consciousness. One is forbidden to observe the activities of a pure devotee from a material point of view. For the neophyte, especially, considering a pure devotee from a material point of view is very injurious. One should therefore avoid observing a pure devotee externally, but should try to see the internal features and understand how he is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. In this way, one can avoid seeing the pure devotee from a material point of view, and thus one can gradually become a purified devotee himself. Those who think that Krishna consciousness is limited to a certain section of people, a certain section of devotees, or a certain tract of land are generally prone to see the external features of their devotee. Such neophytes, unable to appreciate the exalted service of the advanced devotee.
You are reading another paragraph, Prabhu.
Okay, I should stop.
There are 2 paragraphs.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. Let me stop. Hare Krishna. It's very sweet.
Yes, I know it's very sweet. Let us be showing it little by little. So you can give your deliberation on what you have read. Please, go ahead.
Any comment?
Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I think what I learned here is one have to be very careful. A Vaishnava, especially a pure devotee, from materialistic angle. Devotee is a pure soul of Krishna, and seeing him or her from material aspect is a very big offense. According to the scripture, it is considered as, is compared to as a white elephant, mad elephant offense. Mad elephant offense means very heavy, and one should not engage in that, because eventually, if one does so, he will attract a, in quotes, mad elephant punishment. because the punishment will also be very heavy and the person will glide down. So we are encouraged to see each and every pure devotee from the spiritual aspect. A pure devotee that's representing Krishna is also spiritual. So the bodily concept of life brought in at all. Otherwise, the person will become very degraded. The person will become a very big offender, and it will cost him or her lots and lots of punishments from Krishna, the pure devotee. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we know that's the first offense, and when we have the offensive, it's called the first and worst. And much of the so-called trouble we have in our society is because of Vaishnava aparad. When we offend a Vaishnava, we lose our taste for chanting. One thing to protect us from offending is to go out and preach. Then after we deal with non-devotees, we're more able to appreciate devotees. All right, should we just carry on reading a little more then?
Want to read the next paragraph?
Those who think that Krishna consciousness is limited to a certain section of people, a certain section of devotees, or a certain tract of land, are generally prone to see the external features of the devotee. Such neophytes, neophytes, unable to appreciate the exalted service of the advanced devotee, try to bring the Mahabhagavata to their platform. We experience such difficulty in propagating this Krishna consciousness all over the world. Unfortunately, we are surrounded by neophytes, God brothers who do not appreciate the extraordinary activities of speaking Krishna consciousness all over the world. They simply try to bring us to their platform, and they try to criticize us in every respect. We very much regret their naive activities and poor fund of knowledge. An empowered person who is actually engaged in the confidential service of the Lord should not be treated as an ordinary human being, for it is stated that unless one is empowered by Krishna, one cannot spread the Krishna conscious movement all over the world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Want to share your realization? Okay.
Prabhupada is talking about his God brothers. They just sometimes made really foolish criticism. That, some said anyway, because he had women in the ashram, but they didn't know how it was. They didn't know anything about other countries. So Prabhupada made a few points like this in his books, and then they don't like that. He said that we should take those things out. But he didn't specifically, he just pointed to principle. And we have to be careful the same way. I've seen it many times. Someone is successful, even in a particular temple or a particular country, and other devotees start to criticize them a lot and find fault with them, and because they're envious, so we have to be very careful. We should be very happy to see someone advancing in Krishna consciousness, because it means they're just getting the mercy. And we should think, I want to do that also. Instead of thinking it makes me look bad if someone does really good, so I'll put him down. This is the natural tendency in the Kali Yuga. Devotees, real leaders, they want to push everybody up. They want everybody to become a leader. They want everyone to be successful. All right, so please cultivate that.
The final paragraph.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Yeah.
When one does criticize a pure devotee, he commits an offense, Vaishnava aparada. That is very objective and dangerous for those who desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. A person cannot derive any spiritual benefit when he offends the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Everyone should therefore be very careful not to be jealous of an empowered Vaishnava or a Suddha Vaishnava. It is also an offense to consider an empowered Vaishnava an object of disciplinary action. It is offensive to try to give him advice or to correct him. One should distinguish between a neophyte Vaishnava and an advanced Vaishnava by their activities. The advanced Vaishnava is always situated as the spiritual master, and the neophyte is always considered his disciple. The spiritual master must not be subjected to the advice of a disciple. One should nor should a spiritual master be obliged to take instruction from those who are not his disciples. This is the sum and substance of Srila Rupa Goswami's advice in the 6th verse. Hare Krishna.
Very good. So we'll find throughout, a lot of different information about Vaishnava Aparad, and we've definitely seen it happening in our society. But we have to be careful. Sometimes we're thinking everybody's offending me. We should be examining ourselves. In the Chaitanya Bhagavad especially, there are very strong statements about Vaishnava Aparad. It says that even if someone is powerful as Lord Shiva, by Vaishnava Aparad, he can lose everything. Of course, no one's as powerful as Lord Shiva, except Lord Shiva, and he would never offend a Vaishnava, but that's just the point of how serious it is. So we've seen many devotees who rose up to, seemingly big positions and then suddenly disappear because they became proud and started to criticize other devotees. And if we continue to criticize devotees, we'll criticize the guru. Criticize the guru, we'll criticize the parampara, finally criticize Krishna. So we want to take the opposite, make an effort to praise devotees, help devotees, look for the good, and then that way we don't have to think. Aparada, Radha means devotion, or Radharani even. So aparada means without devotion. Good chanting without devotion, doing service without devotion, for some other mode of nature, then we won't make very much progress. So try to praise devotees. If you can't find good in me, find somebody that you can find good in and praise them. Avoid the ones that you think are bad. Don't talk about them. Talk about the good ones. Okay? Any comment on that?
Guru Maharaj, Baulaswa Priti Prabhu is raising his hand.
All right. Call on him.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to your God, to Srila Prabhupada. My question, my own is question from the last paragraph that we just read. And then he mentioned three categories of devotees or of individuals: a pure devotee, an advanced devotee, and a neophyte. And then he's talking about, of course, the paragraph is the chapter is talking about committing offense to pure devotees or advanced devotees. So my question is today, is there a difference between a pure devotee and advanced devotee? And then is there a criteria to know that, okay, this person is a pure devotee? Like maybe, for instance, he has been in a movement for a long period of time, he's a pure devotee, he's an advanced devotee, or he's a neophyte devotee. Is there a criteria that we can know that this person is a qualified pure devotee, or this person is an advanced devotee, or this person is a neophyte devotee? Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Well, it says here, we can distinguish by their activities. So not necessarily a matter of time. But the previous verse, we got devoid of the propensity to criticize others, always very steady in sadhana, serving, preaching. Pure, Prabhupada said, means no material motivation. Just trying to please Guru and Krishna. But then, there's many different levels. Advanced means they're steady, they're just exhibiting good qualities. So we have to, rather than try to judge everyone else, we should look to ourselves. We have in I think it's in Chaitanya Charitamrita, 26 qualities of a devotee. We can examine ourselves, where we stand as far as devotional qualities are concerned. Advanced and pure are kind of the same. There's many things where it's just words, and they're simultaneously one and different, because everybody will understand the words. If you look in the dictionary, you'll find many different definitions of the same word, right? Isn't it? Sometimes they're quite opposite. So, I may hear the word and you hear the word, and we get a completely different idea. I don't know how they label things in America. You get food, it'll say pure apple juice or something. But by definition and in the law, pure means at least 50%. So we look for ones that say 100%. But Prabhupada said a pure devotee, the synonyms for pure is unmixed, unalloyed, not blended, not contaminated. That's pure. Advanced, means they're making, we can see, am I advancing? Am I becoming more free from envy, not jealous anymore? Am I happy to see other devotees make advancement? Do I actually like kirtan? Do I actually like hearing the Bhagavatam? Or am I just doing it so I can live in the temple or something? Okay, does that help?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you. And then a little comment that I want to
You
give.
want to say something?
Yeah, a little comment I want to give on the previous paragraph about how a devotee must perceive a pure devotee or a spiritual master. Oftentimes, we have this idea that maybe when they call somebody a spiritual master, he has to be maybe a very tall person, a very handsome looking. He has no any kind of material or maybe any kind of defect on his body and all those kind of destiny in our head. It's like we have this kind of perfect picture in our head. So sometimes when maybe a Vaishnava or pure devotee or a spiritual master comes to maybe our local temples, some of us we are tempted even to pass judgment by just looking at his physical appearance. So I remember I was in a class when my guru was giving class, but at that time a new guru was coming to our place to visit our temple. But he made a statement that we should be careful and we should not perceive a spiritual master with our naked eye, but rather we should perceive the spiritual master with our ears. Why? Because our eyes is so limited and is so contaminated that we don't know what is pure and what is unpure. So if we judge things according to how we perceive things, we'll be mistaken, we might commit sins that we will not even be able to eradicate in this our life. So we should be very careful how we deal with pure devotees, and we should not perceive them, we should not see them with our naked eyes, but rather we should see them with our ears. We should listen to their words and follow their word, their rules and regulations. That will be the one that can help us to make some significant progress in our devotional life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. Just in addition to what Baula Sapriti said, that we should not see pure Vaishnava with our eyes. And Guru Maharaj mentioned that very clearly, proper mention in the purport that we should see through their activities. So it's not just that, okay, we should not see through our eyes or we should only hear through our ears, but by the activities. That is how you know a pure Vaishnava. Always reminding you of Krishna, leading you to Krishna, telling you how to engage you in the service of Krishna. So everything about them is all about Krishna. They don't have any personal motive. So that is it. So through the activities, it's easy to know. So just to add to that. Yeah.
Prabhupada said even a Kanishta Adhikari can be pure devotee because they're just trying to serve Krishna. They may not know so much exactly how to serve Krishna or anything, but advanced, like someone can be very new, but they're very advanced from the day they first came. They've made progress. They're getting steady. They're getting up early every morning. All these things. They've advanced, moved ahead. That's what advanced means. Okay? We'll carry on.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
So now we're on a new verse, right? We're doing pretty good. And just like the example in the verse is, you can't judge the Ganga because you see dead bodies floating down or big piles of stool or something. The water of the Ganga is pure. Things that are in it are not pure, but the water itself is pure if you filter out the dirty things. So people take baths in the Ganga anyway. It still has the effect. But if you want to drink the Ganga water, you have to filter out those dirty things. But the water itself never becomes contaminated. Okay, I'll read the Sanskrit a couple times. Maybe 2 times, then everybody can try to join in the 3rd time. Sat Krishna Nama Charitari Sutapta Vidya Pito Patapta Rasanasya Narochikanu Kintwa Varad Anudinam Kalu Saiba Justa Swadvi Kramad Bhavati Tad Gadamula Hantri Sat Krishna Nama Charitari Sutapta Vidya Pito Tapta Charitya rasanasya narochikanu quintva barat anudinam kalu saiva jutsta swadvi kramad bhavati tad gadamula hantri. Okay, everybody join in. Chat Krishna, turn on your microphone.
Shat Krishna Namata Adisita Vidya.
So,
Patapa Rasana
okay, it's always fun because everybody's internet comes through at a different speed. You know? Okay, word for word. Chat.
Chat.
Yeah.
Is.
Krishna.
Krishna.
Of
Lord Krishna.
Lord Krishna. Nama. The holy name.
The holy name.
Charita Adi.
Charita
Adi.
Character.
Character. Pastimes. And so forth.
Pastimes and so forth. Sita. Sugar candy.
Sita, sugar candy.
That's interesting meaning of Sita. I haven't heard. Api, although.
Although.
Avidya.
Of ignorance.
Pitta.
By the bile.
Upatapta. Afflicted. Rasanasya. Of the tongue.
Of the
tongue.
Not. Rochika. Palatable.
No. How wonderful it is.
Into, but. Adarat. Carefully.
Carefully.
Anudinam.
Every day. 24 hours daily.
24 hours daily.
Kalu, naturally.
Naturally.
Sa, that sugar candy of the holy name.
That
sugar candy of the holy name.
Taken or chanted.
Jita, taken or chanted.
Taken or chanted.
Twadwi, relishable.
Relishable.
Kramat. Gradually.
Babati.
Gradually.
Bhavati becomes.
Becomes.
The root.
Tadgada.
Tadgada of the disease.
Of that disease.
The destroyer.
Hungry, the destroyer. Of the root.
Translation.
Good, please unmute yourself.
I didn't mute myself. That happens sometimes. Okay, someone read the translation.
The holy name, character, pastimes, and activity of Krishna are all transcendentally sweet, like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. Hare Krishna.
Very good. So I guess the purport will explain. This is an interesting example. There, your main disease is malaria. Is anyone in India? This jaundice disease is very common. Does anybody get the jaundice disease in Africa, where you turn all yellow color and everything?
Yeah, it's here, but it's not very common.
In India, it's common. So the cure for it is you boil green papaya in very thick sugar syrup, and then you drink that, and that cures it. But the sugar syrup, if you have the jaundice disease, it tastes terrible. You don't want to swallow it. I had experience. It just tastes like battery acid or something. So similarly, when we have a diseased tongue, a diseased mind, then
the world's most inaccessible church. It is located in
the chanting just seems like, oh, I don't want to chant, I'd rather do something else. So that's the basic idea. So let's read the purport. But as you get cured, the holy name tastes better and better. So you drink it anyway. You drink the sugar juice anyway, and then the disease will go away. You know you're getting better when it starts to taste good. That's how we can judge.
The only name of Lord Krishna is quality, pastimes, and so forth are all of the nature of absolute truth, beauty, and bliss. Naturally, they are very sweet like sugar candy, which appeals to everyone. Nations, however, is compared to the disease called jaundice, which is caused by bilious secretions. Attacked by jaundice, the tongue of a diseased person cannot palatably relish sugar candy. Rather, a person with jaundice considers something sweet to taste very bitter. Avidya, ignorance, similarly perverts the ability to relish the transcendental palatable name, quality, form, and pastimes of Krishna. Despite this disease, if one with great care and attention takes to Krishna consciousness, chanting the only name and nearing Krishna's transcendental pastime, his ignorance will be destroyed and his tongue enabled to taste the sweetness of the transcendental nature of Krishna and his paraphernalia. Such a recovery of spiritual health is possible only by the regular cultivation of Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
A bit more join. So, any comment?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, this is very interesting because this is a very nice analogy to tell us our position in Krishna consciousness. Because if we are still struggling with our 16 rams, means that we are not relishing the holy name. Means that the disease of ignorance, avidya, is still very much prominent in our life. If we are struggling to chant our 16 rams. So from this example, we can know when we are getting relief of this disease means that we're gradually developing taste for chanting, and we're even chanting more than 16 rams, because we are asked to chant minimum of 16 rams. So it means that we can chant more. So if we are chanting more without even counting, and we're enjoying chanting, and we are waiting for tomorrow to come so that we can chant, it means that our disease is going, ignorance. And that is what I can understand from this. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, and so another thing is, like the previous verse, when we're in a disease condition, we tend to see what's wrong with different devotees. Why they're not so good devotees. But as we become advanced, we begin to see the other way. We begin to see the good. And then we can see the good in everybody. So that's how we can preach to everybody, because we see that first place, we should know that Lord Nityananda is completely merciful. So there's nobody that he will reject. And then we see that if someone comes to the temple, for instance, or even if we approach them and they want to talk, they're sent by Krishna. So they must be very special. And so we see that, think, what can I learn from this person? How can this person help me to advance? And then we teach them what we know, and we make advancement also. Okay?
Yeah, Stephen Gobinan's answers of Guru Maharaj. Stephen, you can meet yourself.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanavad Pranam. Yes, please. I would like to comment on the previous purport, and also ask a question on the present purport.
Okay. One by one.
So, yes, please. So on the previous purport, we were talking about offenses, like Vaishnava Aparada. It was only yesterday I was reading a comment from Srila Prabhupada where he was commenting on the prince of Yadu and Bhuja dynasty who offended some sages based on their sporting activities, and they were being cursed for that. So I think this tells us that no matter how advanced we think we are, we should be very careful about offending devotees. And Srila Prabhupada explained in the chapter the gravity of receiving a curse from a pure devotee. The gravity is very huge, that if one wants to advance in devotional service, it should be avoided. Hare Krishna. So on the present purport, I'm a testimony. I know before devotional service, I know my behavior, I know my activities. And when I started chanting the Maha Mantra, I've seen the massive transformation. So there's no doubt about the gravity of the Maha Mantra. But my on the holy name, yes. But now my question is, all the problems everyone is going through is because they are not purified. So how do you approach a non-devotee to also chant the Maha Mantra to eradicate all his problems? I think that has been my biggest challenge, how to approach non-devotees to understand that coming to follow this param system will make them a happy person. Hare Krishna.
Well, if they're chanting Hare Krishna, then they're not non-devotees. They may be beginning devotees or whatever, but they're not non-devotees. They're some kind of devotee. So we should approach, like Lord Chaitanya says, in a humble state of mind, thinking myself lower than a straw in the street, and devoid of all sense of false prestige, and in a mood of love and care, just like if you have a child, then how do you approach your helpless child? It doesn't know anything. You don't get mad at it when it spits, spills the food off the spoon or all those things. You love it. So, or him or her, or whatever you want to call the child. But so that's how we have to do everything in a humble state of mind. We have to approach the holy name in a humble state of mind.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for the clarification.
Okay. So what's the next paragraph?
When a man in the material world takes more interest in the materialistic way of life than in Krishna consciousness, he is considered to be in a diseased condition. The normal condition is to remain an eternal servant of the Lord. Jivare Svarupa Haye Krishnera Nityadasa. This healthy condition is lost when the living entity forgets Krishna due to being attracted by the external features of Krishna's Maya energy. This word of Maya is called Durasraya, which means false or bad shelter. One who puts his faith in Durasraya becomes a candidate for hoping against hope. In the material world, everyone is trying to become happy, and although their material attempts are baffled in every way due to their essence, they cannot understand their mistakes. People try to rectify one mistake by making another mistake. This is the way of the struggle for existence in the material world. If one in this condition is advised to take to Krishna consciousness and be happy, he does not accept such instructions. Hare Krishna.
Say if you give good advice to a fool, he becomes angry. But if you give a good advice to a peaceful person, he'll be very thankful. And Chanakya Pandit says a good person can take good advice from a fool. He doesn't think, he judges the advice, not the person giving it. We tend to, you can't tell me anything because I'm older than you or something. We have to know the scripture and then know what's good advice. So there's some very interesting things in this purport. That we tend to make one mistake to rectify another mistake. Or there's a saying I think everybody has in English: two wrongs don't make right. Right? Everybody know
Yes,
that
Gurudev.
one?
Yes, Gurudev.
It means like, you insult me, so I insult you back. And that doesn't make it good. That just means you're going to insult me back again, and it'll never end. So we see like this war in the Middle East. They don't want peace. There's some crazy people that just want war, and they say it's some kind of vengeance, but it's just madness. It doesn't have any basis, but it never ends because somebody has to end the cycle at some point, And so amongst ourselves, we have to be very careful. Like we've been, a lot of, then let's see, what was the other one from the beginning? Yeah, there's this verse quoted from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Jivara Swarpoi, Nitya Krishna Das. That verse is when Sanatana Goswami first approached Lord Chaitanya. The teachings to Sanatana Goswami are something like 5 chapters, a major part of the Madhya Lila. And the first question was, I don't know who I am. Kayami, who am I? He said, everybody thinks I'm a big man. I'm a minister. I'm a scholar. He was all those things. But he was saying, I don't know who I really am. So Lord Chaitanya's answer was Jivara Swarapoi, Nit Krishnara Nityadas, that the Jiva is the eternal servant of Krishna. And that's very important for everybody to remember. There's some people, you go to Radha Kund, and they're offering to teach you your real condition, who you are in the spiritual world or something. But that's not important. The important thing is that I'm a servant of Krishna. When we get initiated, we get a name Das or Dasi, servant. And that's the important part of our name that we have to remember. If we just think I'm Krishna and not Krishna Das, we're going to get in trouble. I'm Radha and not Radha Dasi. We have to remember we're Das and Dasi. Okay. Any more word or question on that? It's quite simple. All right, so we'll carry on.
Hare Krishna.
This
This
Krishna
movement
movement is being spread all over the world just to remedy this gross ignorance. People in general are misled by blind leaders. The leaders of human society, the politicians, philosophers, and scientists are blind because they are not Krishna conscious. According to Bhagavad Gita, because they are bereft of all factual knowledge due to their atheistic way of life, they are actually sinful rascals and are the lowest among men. Namadu Skriti Namuda Prabhadyante Naradama Mayaya Pahrita Gyana Asurambhavana Sritaha. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the theistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 7:15. Hare Krishna. Should I continue?
No,
Such.
that's the whole
Should I?
paragraph.
No, let
Yeah.
Balalila Prabhu read. You have finished your own paragraph, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Such people never surrender to Krishna, and they oppose the endeavor of those who wish to take Krishna's shelter. When such atheists become leaders of society, the entire atmosphere is surcharged with nations. In such a condition, people do not become very enthusiastic to receive this Krishna consciousness movement. Just as a diseased person suffering from jaundice does not relish the taste of sugar candy. However, one must know that for jaundice, sugar candy is the only specific medicine. Similarly, in the present confused state of humanity, Krishna consciousness, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is the only remedy for setting the world aright. Although Krishna consciousness may not be very palatable for a diseased person, Srila Rupa Goswami nonetheless advises that if one wants to be cured of the material disease, he must take to it with great care and attention. One begins his treatment by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because by chanting this holy name of the Lord, a person in the material condition will be relieved from all misconceptions, Chito Dapana Marjanam, avidya, a misconception about one's spiritual identity, provides the foundation for ahankara or false ego within the heart. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's a good one. Comment? Wow. We're getting more members here every day. That's good. So take the medicine. The holy name is called Baba Oshadi, the great medicine. Baba Oshadi, to cure everything. Of course, you know, if we have physical disease, if you're pure enough and chant, then you won't worry about it. But for the most part, we need medicine and proper diet and everything. But the only cure, ultimate cure, is the holy name. That is the most powerful, and that's what relieves us of identifying with the body, which is an abode of disease. So when these atheists who never want to surrender to Krishna are leaders in society, then people become, it should make people want Krishna conscious more. We see it. If we approach them properly, like everybody thought it's, you know, really hard to distribute books in Africa, but Ganachak has somehow found a way. And yesterday he sold 325 Bhagavad Gitas, and people were still waiting in line to get them. And they're paying a good price, you know, because he's managed to reach out to people and touch their hearts. So he had a strong desire, so he become empowered. For me, it's really inconceivable, but we see these miraculous things happening all the time, because devotees take the medicine and they want to give it to everybody. We got cured from the ahankara, and then we want to give it to everybody, and Krishna will help us. Somebody can do 10,000 books, someone can do 300, someone can do 1, someone can just chant. It's all right, as long as we're trying to please Krishna and we're doing as best we can. So, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, who knows the whole verse? That's at the end of the paragraph.
Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhavamādava Nivarpanam Shriya Kariva Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Badhu Jivanam Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Punamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam.
All right, very good. Translation?
Your holy name alone can render all benediction to all living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have read of transcendental energies that are not hard and fast.
That is mantra 2. Yeah, translated mantra 2.
Cheto, okay, glory to Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the doors accumulated for years and extinguishes the fires of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is a prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of benediction moon. It is the life of all the transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious of. Jai.
Okay, so that's, that's Lord Chaitanya's main instruction, but that's our mission, Okay, we have more.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble this. The real disease is in the heart. If the mind is clear, a person cannot be harmed by the material disease. To cleanse the mind and heart of all misconceptions, one should take to this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. This is both easy and beneficial. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is immediately freed from the blazing fire of material existence. So in this paragraph, it is very clear, and it has been stated that a person cannot be harmed by the material disease. And what are the material disease? That is birth, old age, disease, and death in this material world. So Srila Prabhupada has given us the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and also His Holiness Bhakti Damodara Swami Maharaj has clearly stated that the Maha Mantra is very powerful. So in this way, we should embrace the Maha Mantra, and also we should render service. So in this way, it is easy and beneficial. And if we take to the chanting of the holy name very seriously, we will be freed from material existence. Hare Krishna.
Very good. So that's the mercy. The Krishna conscious movement is making facilities to give the holy name to everybody, to chant the holy name. We want to take advantage. And if we're very blissfully chanting and people see that, they want to join us also. Okay. Thank you.
Next.
Very good. So the real disease is the heart. The mind is a reflection of the heart, actually. It's similar, but there's a difference, because in Sanskrit, there's different words completely, mana and cheta. The mind is not thinking, feeling. The mind is thinking, feeling, and willing. The heart is much deeper, where our real deep attachments are. The mind is flickering and unsteady. But if we purify the heart, then the mind will reflect that also. The heart is dirty if we're harboring hatred and prejudice and anger, envy, then that will come out in the mind. And when the mind is polluted like that, it'll come out in words, and we have trouble. Okay? Thank you. Next.
There are 3 stages in chanting the holy name of the Lord: the offensive stage, the stage of lessening offenses, the pure stage. When a neophyte takes to the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, he generally commits many offenses. There are 10 basic offenses, and if the devotee avoids this, he can glimpse the next stage, which is situated between offensive chanting and pure chanting. When one attains the pure stage, he is immediately liberated. This is called Baba Maha Davani Nirvapanam. As soon as one is liberated from the blazing fire of the material existence, he can relish the taste of transcendental life.
Okay, so that 3 stages, it's important to remember. Where we want to come to the stage of pure chanting, right? Hopefully. And in the beginning, we may be very offensive, you know, we're chanting for material gain, we're, you know, whatever, puffed up. But then there's a clearing stage, which is sometimes called the clearing stage. And here it's called lessening offenses. You know, we're clearing out the offenses. So sometimes we're offensive, sometimes we're not. Sometimes it may be pure, and we try and try. Pure means we're just doing it for Krishna's pleasure, not expecting anything in return. And we really don't feel like stopping. To have a real taste for the holy name, the definition of ruchi, taste, means that we can't stop. Okay? And so in the beginning, we commit offenses. We know the 10 offenses. Inattentive chanting is one of the offenses, and that will create other offenses. But also attentive chanting will clear away offenses. So we just try to chant attentively. We don't have to think of anything else, just hear the holy name again and again and again. Say the holy name, hear the holy name. So it's just a flow that never stops. Pray for me. So we like certain people's kirtan better because maybe they're much more absorbed. It's not just the music. Because if we hear a non-devotee chanting, even though they're very musical, it's not pleasing. But when someone is really crying out for Krishna, trying to spread the holy name by chanting, then it touches the heart. Bhava Mahadevagini Nirvapanam. Where does that come from? The first Shastri?
Yes, Guru. From the first verse, Shitudarpanam.
Devagini.
It shows
that puts out the fire of material existence. Samsara dava nala lita loka. Dava nala. Fire. Okay? We read
Maula Sapitis answers up.
The next one is conclusion is that in order to get freed.
Irrigation Maharaj, please, I have a question. Let's say like some misunderstanding. Because this paragraph that I just read is talking about the 3 stages of chanting. And then the first stage is the neophytes, that is the offensive chanting. But sometimes too, it seems like, I don't know, but most of us, when we join the movement, at that very, very neophyte stage, most of us, if we are being asked to even to share about our realization about when we take into the even Krishna consciousness movement. I remember even when I started chanting without even joining the temple, there were so many realizations that I was having. So my question is, at that time, why was I having this kind of experiences? Then later, when even I begin to even know more about Krishna consciousness, reading more and understanding more, even being close to the temple, going for temple programs and all that, it got to a point in time, it's like the taste has been removed from there. You have to struggle. Of course, they sometimes explains that when we come first, Krishna will give us the taste of the holy name. Then later we just withdraw. Then he say we should work out for it. then it becomes difficult. So is it that when we come first to join the movement, Krishna, one way or the other, export us to, or maybe take us to the pure devotional way of experience the holy name, and then he later brings us back to the neophyte state to be able to work our way through the ladder to get that state? Or why do we experience this kind of feelings or this kind of realization?
Kavi?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
I think what I would have said, what he said right at the end there. In the beginning, Krishna will give us, a little taste. It's above our real qualification. Something like in the Narada Muni, in his previous life, when he's describing how he practiced the meditation, and then actually Vishnu appeared in his heart, and he was just appeared in front of him, and he was just completely bewildered, didn't know what was what. And then Vishnu disappeared, and he tried and tried, meditating again and again, and it wouldn't come back. Then a voice came and said, I just wanted to show you, now you have to work for it. So that is definitely a factor. So when we first come also, it's like such a relief. And then gradually, our offenses take over, and we start to think, well, this devotee is not so nice, and I don't know why he's here. And, I don't want to listen to authorities anymore. So then Krishna gives us that impetus, so to keep working. Hopefully we can keep that. We can pray to get that back and then keep trying. When I look back and I know what happened, is it really me that did all these things I did in the past? Because now I feel like a lazy nobody, but all right, another good paragraph coming up. Prabhupada is talking a lot about the Krishna conscious movement in these purports.
The conclusion is that in order to get freed from the material disease, one must take to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. The Krishna consciousness movement is especially meant for creating an atmosphere in which people can take the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. One must begin with faith, and when this faith is increased by chanting, a person can become a member of the society. We are sending Sankirtana parties all over the world, and they are experiencing that even in the remote part of the world where there is no knowledge of Krishna. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra attracts thousands of men of our camp. In some areas, people begin to imitate the devotees by shaving their heads and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra only a few days after hearing the mantra. This may be imitative, but imitation of a good thing is desired. Some imitators gradually become interested in being initiated by the spiritual master and offer themselves for initiation.
Okay, next.
If one is sincere, he is initiated, and this stage is called Bhavana Kriya. One then actually engages in the service of the Lord by regularly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 16 rounds daily and refraining from illicit sex, intoxicants, meat eating, and gambling. By Bhavana prayer, one attains freedom from the contamination of materialistic life. He no longer goes to a restaurant or hotel to taste so-called palatable dishes made with meat and onions, nor does he care to smoke or drink tea or coffee. He not only refrains from illicit sex or drinking tea or coffee. He not only refrains from illicit sex, but avoids sex life entirely. Nor is he interested in wasting his time in speculating or gambling. In this way, it is to be understood that one is becoming cleansed of unwanted things. Anartha vriti. The word anartha refers to unwanted things. Anarthas are vanquished when one becomes attached to the Krishna consciousness movement. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Someone else wants to read the concluding part?
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Ananga Moini, go ahead, please.
When a person is relieved from unwanted thing, he becomes fixed in executing his Krishna activity. Indeed, he becomes attached to such activity and experience ecstasy in executing devotional service. This is called Pravan, the preliminary awakening of the dormant love of Godhead. Thus, the conditioned soul becomes free from material existence and loses interest in the bodily concession of life, including material opulence, material knowledge, and material attraction of all varieties. At such a time, one can understand who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is and his Maya. And what is his Maya? Although Maya may be present, it cannot disturb a devotee once he attains the Bhavan stage. This is because the devotee can see the real position of Maya. Maya means forgetfulness of Krishna, and forgetfulness of Krishna and Krishna consciousness stand side by side like light and shadow. If one remains in shadow, he cannot enjoy the facility offered by light. And if one remains in light, he cannot be disturbed by the darkness of shadow. By taking the Krishna consciousness, one gradually becomes liberated and remain in the light. Indeed, he does not even touch the darkness, as confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22:31. Krishna Sava Sama Maya Haya Atakara Yakha Krishna Taha Nityam Majara
Krishna Surya Sama Maya Aya Andakar. Yaha Krishna Taha Nahi Mayar Adikar.
Thank you. Krishna is compared to sunshine and Maya is compared to darkness. Wherever there is sunshine, there cannot be darkness. And as soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion and the inflation of external energy will immediately vanish. Hare Krishna.
That verse there, that
which verse, Guru Maharaj?
I was just looking for it. Maya Andakar, that one.
Yes. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Aya Andakar.
So that Prabhupada put that's on the heading of the Back to Godhead magazine from the very beginning. Krishna is light, Maya is darkness. So wherever there's Krishna, there won't be Maya. Darkness is just the absence of light. Maya means the absence of Krishna. We turn our back on Krishna and we become absorbed in the material energy. we turn our back on the sun, we create a big shadow. But that anyway, Prabhupada used that verse a lot. Yeah, Krishna Surya Sama. The sun is Krishna Maya Haya. Wherever there's sunshine, there cannot be darkness. As soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion, the influence of the external energy will immediately vanish. So we finish another verse. You guys are moving fast.
That's good, Maharaj.
Looks like you have pretty good understanding so far. Yeah. Thank you. Very good. So you want to move to the next one?
Well, maybe you can ask us question. You can ask us question on this verse today.
You want to ask questions on what we did today?
Yes, good, Maharaj.
Yeah,
so
if they
so that we start from test 8 next weekend.
What time is it? We got a half hour left, right? So
Yes, good, Maharaj.
do you want to stop
Or you can talk more about the holy name, Guru Maharaj, the offenses, about the chanting, about the different stages. Yes.
show you something nice? You want to see it?
Yes, good, Maharaj. Well, every day we okay. Oh, good. The volume is not coming, Guru Maharaj.
All right.
Yes, good, Maharaj.
Okay, so we have some further discussion. I'm happy. I like questions, keeps me on the ball, makes me remember the scriptures. So devotees always welcome anyone who asks questions about Krishna. That's what we're here.
Yeah, just want to talk more about the offenses of chanting the holy name, like you mentioned, inattentive chanting. The inattentive chanting is the mother of all offenses, like as Bhakti Notaku mentioned. But the first number one offense mentioned is to blaspheme the devotee who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. So
that's a rude offense also.
Yes, Your Maharaj. So we want devotees to deliberate. What do you understand by this? To blaspheme the devotee who have dedicated their life for propagating the name of the Lord. What do you understand about this offense? Let's deliberate on these offenses. Let's see how much we can go. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So my idea about this issue is that I believe we are all acting based on our understandings. For instance, before I became a devotee, I used to live with I used to live in a family house, and every Christmas.
Please unmute yourself, please.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so as I was saying, I believe all of us is acting based on our level of consciousness. So I believe everyone is doing their best. Even the people who are committing offenses, who are, doing things not according to the scriptural injunctions, they are acting based on their understanding. For instance, we wish Ghana president will fix all our rules, make the economy better, so we all can feel very happy. But he is also doing his best. Just like I wish I'm cruising in a private jet, but here I am. So why should I think the president is not doing his best? Meanwhile, I don't have my life position where I want to be. So if the president, I have to blame the president for everything, then I'm actually being ignorant, because I'm also not being to fulfill all my desires. So I believe we are all doing our best. So we should practice more compassionate and try to understand which level everyone is acting, and advise them to increase their vibration, increase their consciousness, so they can gradually come to perfection. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. One devotee to talk about that number one offense, blaspheming devotee who have dedicated their life in themselves for the propaganda. Then we'll go to the second one. Then we'll go. Let's see how much we can go for the 10 offenses, because Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, the beginning stage of chanting is offensive stage. So we have to really understand what these offenses are. Then we can begin to try to avoid them. Then we can go to the lessening offense stage before we can come to the Shuddhanam. So what do you understand? Yes, Shri Ramachandra.
Prabhuji, what I understand by this is we offending other Vaishnavas, thinking this is not a pure. The lecture of His Holiness Bhakti Swami, I was listening once, and he said we spoil a lot of things most times when we use the phrase Aham Brahmasmi, thinking, okay, I'm not this body, and we offend devotees and have compassion, no feelings for other devotees. We're only thinking about ourselves. We are perfect, this person is not perfect. Then we commit offense. And he also used himself as an example. He said there was one time a lady came to see him. She's not a devotee. After they had a conversation, she left the room. Then she tripped from the stairs. She fell down and she hurt herself. He didn't go immediately to check her. And it took some time before the devotees came to check her. They were all saying, it's a karma, something like that. And he said, till today, she's not happy with ISKCON devotees for that. So we should also have compassion. Okay, this thing I'm saying about these devotees, yeah, the scripture says it's wrong. I also going to be happy if someone does this to me. Then if we have this mindset also, we won't be hurting one another. Then this offense, we will not commit this offense, because it's also a very great offense. But Krishna himself also said, he can be forgiven. But once one of my devotees, it's very hard. Only my devotee can forgive you. So we should try our best to see how we can commit such offenses, because it looks like it's the greatest offense. Some great personalities like Mahadev and the rest of them committing offense against Vaishnavas, they paid very seriously for it. They had to go back and beg for that, beg that devotee to forgive them. So this is a very great offense. committing offense against a devotee who has propagated his life to Krishna consciousness. So we should try our best not to commit such offense.
Thank you very much, Sri Ramachandra. Also, there's this part in the Shaitan Charitamrita of Raghunath Das Goswami. If anybody comes to him and he wants to talk, criticize other devotee, we first of all ask, is that devotee chanting? If he say yes, say no, please, because he's chanting, I don't want to hear the criticism. So in the beginning, we have to be very conscious. I have one friend in Mayapur. There was one devotee, Dinadaya Prabhu. I remember when I was in Mayapur with him. So one day I wanted to tell him about what I'm experiencing from other devotee. And he said, oh, Prabhu, please. So devotees, they are chanting the place I don't want to hear. So since that day, this thing never left my mind, because it made me to be conscious that as long as devotees are chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you have to be very, very careful, especially even those who have dedicated their life for propagating this Maha Mantra. Our spiritual master, the senior Vaishnavas. So we have to be very, very careful to speak ill of them if we really want to make any tangible advancement in the chanting. Okay? So let's go to the second one. The second one is, who want to remind us of the second offense? Let's be quick.
Lessening the offenses.
No, not that one. We have 10 offenses. The
To
10
consider
offenses.
demigods like Shiva and Brahma to be equal to or independent in the name of Lord Vishnu.
Okay. Yamasami, please go ahead and elaborate on that.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Well, the second one saying this, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent in Lord Vishnu. Well, it simply means that we all know that, yes, apart from Lord Vishnu, we also have other higher demigods who we give respect to, but one should not consider them to be the supreme. We should not consider them to be the supreme personality and then giving them the whole awe and reverence. We should consider them to be some like a devotee, higher platform of devotees. Okay, we should consider them like that, not that they are the supreme personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other devotee want to comment on this? Umar, want to say something regarding this?
But yeah, this one, we don't have much problem except with Hindus. I know myself, I never heard of a demigod until I was a devotee, and we already heard of Krishna Supreme. But for those who have, traditionally worshiped demigods, we don't want to disturb their minds by just saying, no demigods, it's really bad. We just teach them how to worship the demigods by giving the demigods Krishna Prasadam, which is the prescribed way to worship demigods. And that they like to hear the Krishna Kirtan. All right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Shri Ramachandra, you want to say something?
Yes, Prabhuji. Speaking about
you can remove your video. You can remove your video so that your network will be okay. Your network is a little bit low. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hare Krishna. So speaking of not considering the names of demigods to equal to the name of one was in Mayapur from Diksha, because I did my death in Jagannath temple and there was a Mahadev temple. So I met one of the brahmacharis I was staying with and I asked him, there is a Mahadev temple here. Why? I think because now devotees are like, and I was taught in the differences we should not consider them to be so Vishnu. There is a Mahadev temple over here. Then this brahmachari explained to me, he said, no, we are not going to Mahadev. We are only going to meet him as a senior devotee, Vaishnava Yatan Shambho. If we are going to the demigod saying, okay, please, I need this so I can perform best for Krishna. Okay. I need money, so I need a car, not for my gratification, so I can do more Sankirtan and far places for Sankirtan, then it's okay. We are not going to worship them or say, okay, going to offer this. We are only doing that so we can perform better service for the Lord. Then there is no problem. So when we consider them to be Vishnu, then that is problem, because even Mahadev himself said that moksha he can't give, but only Vishnu can give moksha. So if all these personalities are saying this, then why should we consider them? Then he explained to me, the demigods is just like you have your father there, and your father has his brothers. Then maybe your dad, it's not, maybe you came and you're very busy. You can still go to your uncles and they give you. That doesn't mean your uncle is greater than your father because your uncle gave you something today. Your father is still the superior. So this is just the relationship between Krishna and the demigods for us. Yes, we should respect them. We can ask them for things. They are only given to us because of Krishna. They are not given to us because of we serve them so nice. They are only given to us because of Krishna. So we should all have that in mind that okay, we are getting this from the demigods because of Krishna. So we should use whatever we get from them to serve Krishna properly. Hare Krishna.
Right. That is a very good example of what is mental speculation. It's really. So you're thinking that the demigod is greater than Krishna. Krishna can't give you what you want to serve him, so you have to go to the demigod. Right? That's what you said.
No, my dad.
Your father is poor, so you go to your rich uncle. Krishna is poor, so you go to the demigod. The demigod can only give you what Krishna sanctions. I don't know if you're saying that or you're just telling what somebody told you, but that person is really out of it. And that, I go to the demigod so I can get money to serve Krishna. Krishna wants you to go to him for service. He doesn't tell you you have to get money to serve me. That means you want to serve money. Anyway, that's really a good example of what is mental speculation. It's completely scriptural, completely different than any scriptural, right?
Yes, Kumar.
All right. Anyway,
so Ramachandra, you take note of that.
Honor the demigods. The gopis could worship Durga to get Krishna as their husband. But that's in a different culture also, but they weren't thinking that that's just the system, they worship Durga to get a good husband. They weren't thinking, so they can get some car to serve Krishna. If you want a car, you want a car. You want to serve Krishna, he'll give you what you need. If you get a car, you're going to want a bigger car, a better car. You're going to want a wife to ride around in the car with you. You'll never end. If you think, I have to get these things, and you serve Krishna with whatever you have, he can give you the world. He can also take away everything, whatever is best for you. So if we go to the demigods, Kamais Taisha Rityagana, Prabhajante and the Devata. But we don't hate the demigods and think, we honor them as servants of Krishna. But the example is like bribing the policeman when you're in front of the judge. It won't do any good. You'd have to bribe the judge. So worshiping the demigods like that. You're already in the courtroom and then you try to bribe the policeman to help you. It doesn't work. Maybe you could have bribed him in the first place when he arrested you. But once you're in front of the judge, the policeman can't help you. All right. Next, though.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. What's the third offense?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I think some of the administrators are off the line because maybe there's a problem. Yeah, they are back now.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Sorry, internet.
We got a big group there.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Want to carry on supervising this last 15 minutes, 10 minutes?
Okay, okay, Guru Maharaj.
Because you have another class coming up right away, right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
A few minutes early to give people a chance to breathe.
Yes. Hello there. How can I be of service? So we have the third offense. Please, somebody can remind us. Just
do not
master. Huh?
Do not disobey the order of your spiritual master.
Okay, very good. That is a very interesting one. So let us talk about that. Please, Ojaswishan Prabhu, you want to explain to us what it means? What is? Are you there, Prabhu? Ojaswishan Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Call is almost entering my phone. I'm just trying to reject the call. Sorry.
Okay, please go ahead and explain to us what it means.
For you to accept a spiritual master means I have surrendered my life to serve you. Use me as you want. That is the reason for you accepting you a guru. So once you're initiated, you have a guru, you can never disobey your guru order. Those days when we're still very new in the movement, we used to see when Bhakti Swami Maharaj will be sending people to different temples and none is disobeying. Even if it is not your comfort zone, you have to go. That is the number one example. And although we have a Dishak and Siksha guru, once a guru says this should happen, it has to happen. Because you have to consider yourself 100% servant to the guru. Because the gurus are bona fide representative of God. They are Krishna representative here. So you don't have any reason for you to disobey them. Immediately you disobey them is Vaishnava para. So it is degradation of the soul. So we don't, as Vaishnavas, we should try to minimize all of those offenses because you don't have any reason for you to disobey. It is better that you obey before you complain. And your complaining is with all humility. You can't say, Maharaj, why did you send me to that place? I'm not interested. I did that because you're my guru. No, that is unaccepted. Unaccepted. It is better you go pay obeisance and then, my Guru Maharaj, I can never disobey you because it's an offense. But the reason why I have to come is just to discuss with you and to seek your advice. Then you can now lay your complaint, what you want. And if the Guru consider it okay, he can say, okay, don't worry, do it as you want. But it has to be strictly his order and not with your own order. So if you make your submission and you said, no, don't go, this is the reason why I want you to be there. It is still for your own spiritual upgrade. So whatever you want with your life, you do it with it. So I think that is my little submission to this, do not disobey the order of a spiritual master, because it is very, very uncalled for. It is Vaishnava para for you to disobey your guru. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. And one of the, I think we will stop here. We'll just make some comments and we will stop here so that we can allow the other liars. And Guru Maharaj will say something to conclude. I think one of the prime order of the spiritual master is for us to chant 60 rounds every day and to follow the 4 regulative principles. So that is the prime instruction, because once we are able to do this, every other thing will fall in place. If you are chanting your 60 rounds every day without fail, every other things you need to make spiritual progress will fall in place automatically. So if we promised to our guru that we are going to chant 16 rounds every day. And for no reason, we don't do that, you are disobeying the order of the spiritual master. Then you will not make, you are committing Namaha-parad. Vaishnava-parad, Namaha-parad. In that way, we will not make spiritual progress. It's very, very important. And also the 4 regulating principles, like Papa mentioned in the purport. We are promised our guru that we are going to follow this when we are taking. Okay? So we have to follow it. There's no, under any circumstances, we have to break these 4 regulative principles. Because we have make a vow to do that and chant minimum 16 rounds. So this is one of the prime instruction of the guru. And all disciples must follow. Okay? So that is what I want to say. Guru Maharaj, you want to say something to conclude this section?
That's what I would say. When people ask me, the order of the spiritual master, a few devotees get specific orders. You go to Burkina Faso or you go to Kumasi or something. But mostly, we have the order, chant your rounds, follow the principles, and cooperate in the temple authorities. Because if we are rebellious with the temple authorities, it's also disobeying the order of the spiritual master, because he's set up, this system. It's like a parampara. So if we're not respecting other devotees, then we're just, we're also disobeying the order of the spiritual master. But like you said, if we chant our rounds and we really try to be attentive, then the other things will fall into place. Okay, thank you all very much. Very good today. Everybody had a lot of good comments. And I trust you that you really memorize those 3 6s. Those are basic things. By keeping those in mind, we can handle a lot of questions and a lot of different issues. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. We are very thankful for your mercy. So please let us be early next week also. We come early, we should not come late. We should respect that Guru Maharaj is one taking us. We should come early. We should not let him to be waiting for us. Just like we did today. Many of us came early today. Thank you very much for coming early.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please, I would like to know, in the nectar of instruction, what are the verses should we memorize?
Okay, we will tell you that one next week. Once we speak with Chaitanya Pirima Prabhu. Because now we have to close this section. I was just making some roundup announcement, okay? So we'll talk about that next week. So please come early next weekend, and we are going to continue the discussion about the Namaha-parad, because it's very, very important for all of us. Many of us, we are stuck in this stage for many years, and we are not progressing. We are not going to the next stage. So it's very, very important for all of us. So we conclude here. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. See you next weekend. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.